Well, Gus Worland is many things. Proud dad, mental health advocate, former radio host and author, and he just happens to be besties with megastar Hugh Jackman.
But his latest project is his first foray into children's literature, and he's hoping it will inspire Aussie families to talk about their feelings. And here he is to tell us all about it this morning. Gus, congratulations on the book.
Thanks, Dave.
Tell us, why did you want to write this book? What is the message behind it?
Well, really the message is to feel all the feels, and that's something that a lot of kids at the moment aren't doing. And I hope not just for the kids that hear the book, but for the mums and dads or the carers that actually read the book, they might actually get a message to say, I might actually be okay being human as well. We lose way too many people at the moment, and the work I do at Gotcha for Life is all about suicide prevention. So I thought, let's get into the youngsters, into schools and primary schools and get them start to talk about their feelings and make it realise it's okay.
Yeah, start them off young. I
Exactly.
love it. Your dear friend, and he's a dear friend, you've been mates since school days, Hugh Jackman. He shared a note in the back of the book, and the book's just gorgeous. He shared a note in the back of the book, and it reads, "Oh, how I wish this book had been available way back when I was young. My hope for this book is that it encourages kids to embrace and express their feelings. My hope is that it opens doors to safe conversations from the youngest of ages." I mean, that must have meant a lot to you.
It did.
Like
so
yeah.
Jacko and I met at Pymble Public School. We were 5 years old, first day of kindy, and of course he's gone on to have this wonderful career, but more importantly, 51 years of friendship, you know, best man at each other's weddings, godfather to our firstborn. So, yeah, and he's obviously had this wonderful career, but for me to have his support, and I suppose I went through those moments when we should have been reading this book together.
Yeah.
And we realised that it would have been lovely to have the permission to feel the feels. So many adults now tell me that their emotional muscle or their emotional tap was turned off when they were in the kindergarten or primary school, and it's stuff that mum and dad don't even get to know. You know, something happens to them, they feel shame, they feel sadness, and they go, I never want to feel that way again. So that emotional tap's turned off. And now we've got 30, 40 and 50-year-olds that are finding it really hard to talk about the stuff that's really important. We're really good at banter, but we need to start having more conversations, not bursting into tears every 5 minutes or big D&Ms all the time, but to have a conversation with someone you love about the important stuff. We're not doing that in Australia.
Yeah, it's a beautiful message there, Gus, and a beautiful letter there from Hugh as well. Now, you shared the stage at New York's Radio City Hall a few weeks ago. Let's have a look at that.
It was magic.
You absolutely nailed that high note there. I've got to say, Hugh had a real grip around your neck there, didn't he?
Well,
what an amazing moment.
Well, he came down to me. He said, I got my best mate in the room. I want to sing a song with him. Thank God he hadn't told me anything beforehand.
Oh, you didn't know?
I didn't have a clue. I didn't have a clue.
You're very good on the lyric.
I was hugging him and I was going, what's the song? what's the song like that? He said, go with me, go with me. And I look like something out of a Lowe's commercial, and he looks like James Bond. And if I knew that I was going to be up in his millions and millions of Instagrams, I would have. But it was a great night. He actually dedicates a song called You Are Not Alone from Dear Evan Hansen to me, which is all about just having that someone you can talk to, warts and all, without any fear of judgment. And, yeah, for me, it was a very special moment. My wife and I were both there, and I'm going back in April with my daughter to see it again. He's a superstar. He's been through a lot over the last few years. He's come out the other side, and he's much loved and just so talented.
Are you wearing a tux next time you go?
I'm definitely not. I didn't put my belt on from the airport. You have to take your belt on as a plane. I go, I'll just go to the show because we're not straight off the plane. I'm definitely putting more effort in.
That is so Gus Worland. You're doing good stuff in this space, Gus. It's what feeds you now, isn't it?
It really does.
Do you think things are getting a little bit better? You say you've got a long way to go.
Long way to go.
Yeah,
still losing 7 blokes a day, 2 women every day, 9 Aussies every day, and 1 attempt every 8 minutes. So don't think for a moment we're on top of it. But your kids, my kids, who are in that sort of late teens, early 20s, they're so much better than we were. And I think as parents, we're better than our parents were. So each generation's slightly better than the rest. But you basically celebrate for a New York minute, which is really short, and then you get back on the horse. And And I was at a school this week talking to 750 kids and then the parents in the evening. And the parents are keen now to learn what it takes for their boys and girls to learn and to be the best they can be. So we are getting there, but a lot of work still to be done.
Oh, Gus, well, we absolutely adore all of your work. Just going back to the book very quickly, your kids are a little bit too old for it, but what's your advice been to them about opening up and sharing?
Yeah, I mean, I had to show my vulnerability first to them for them to realise it was okay. And it took me a long time. I was very old school. Come on, do your homework, do this, do your chores. And then I realised that these three kids were all a little bit different. They all needed a slightly different way. My wife's a bit of an English nanny, and I then became sort of the fun parent. But between the two of us, we worked out that if we're just really, really honest and open with them and vulnerable, then they felt they could do the same. So all of a sudden we started having conversations that were a bit different to what we were having before. And that's what I say to all parents. Don't be afraid to be a bit vulnerable, but don't be afraid to be human.
Yeah.
Because it'll show your kids that it's okay. Because at the moment there's a lot of kids out there worrying alone and they don't have the words to have the conversation, or they don't know how to start the conversation, and that's what Got You for Life, and this book hopefully will help with.
Congratulations, Gus.
Thanks, Kyle.
You're so we love your passion, and we're just so thrilled that this book has been such a big success.
That's for you, David. Thank
Gus
you, mate.
Worland's book. It's called Boys Do Cry. It's like Boys Don't Cry. They've crossed the NT out.
That's
Boys Do Cry, and it is out now by Gus Worland. Good stuff.
Thanks, Gus.